I feel a fire burning throughout you. And this fire, this reading, it's not about romantic love. This has to do with either a stand-up to somebody that abused you, in whatever form that will resonate, because these are collective, but it feels like you have either, like, there's this sense of regaining your life force back from a person who deeply neglected you, or gaslit you, made you feel that you were the problem. And from the intensity of I'm feeling, a lot of this has to stem from childhood. So this could be things to do with your parents or whoever raised you. It doesn't feel like this reading is focused on a romantic love partner. So in the recent months, you've been put in positions to where you were to stand up for your inner teenager, inner child, to a form of somebody who neglected you, was supposed to be there for you, but wasn't. Somebody that made you feel that you were the problem. That if you didn't do X, Y, and Z, that all of this wouldn't have happened. At a time when your brain was mush, is what I'm saying. It's just you were in the formative years of your life. Formative. So this has to stem even, it could even possibly be if you had like an older brother or sister, etc. But there's an energy of, you're seeing that somebody growing up had a you versus them mentality. And it's not even just you. Like the way this, what I mean by that is this person saw the world was against them. And because they believed that so hard, there was always a sense of trying to find something to go wrong. The embodiment of your life became, my emotions I can only be safe based off how this person's emotions are. So it does, for a lot of you, feel like it could have been a father or a mother or etc. who, if they had a bad day, it would affect everybody. There's a difference between, I had a bad day, I'm going to keep it to myself, versus I'm going to throw it on everybody. I feel tiptoeing and walking on eggshell energy. So a lot of you, even if they're not here, it could have even been in this past 2 months, you've just unpacked and re-looked at so many things about your childhood. You could have even talked to people and compared stories and been like, wow, I went through a lot more trauma than I realized. Like, I knew that I went through trauma, but I don't think I realized as depth. And that's the thing about trauma and abuse. When you're going through it, you don't realize the depth of it. It feels that you have been able to truly see like this North Star feeling about everything, though. You weren't destined to go through this form of abuse. You were destined for a human experience, which means having all energies, experiencing everything, highs and lows. But the way that the highs and lows come is freedom of will based off of every individual in this world. You were destined to feel neglect, the frequency of neglect, the frequency of pain, but not in the way that you experienced it. That wasn't destiny. What I see right now within this reading regarding your mind process, you rescued yourself. You went against the grain. A lot of you here had a parent or somebody, etc., like literally be like, you told your abuser, whoever, I had to for so long worry about my physical safety, my mental safety, based off if you were okay. A lot of you had some instance where either if it could have been a spiritual understanding, a downloaded conversation, or a complete 3D communication conversation of, I am no longer going to belittle the neglect and actions you did to me to make you feel better. Because a lot of you have parents who have came to that point where you're old enough, right? You're in your adult years, and they have nothing but time now to reflect on what they did to you versus why they did this. They have nothing but time to reflect on how it actually affected you. And because of that, and you've grown into this person that has this tenacity, this energy, this protector within you, you literally feel yourself feeling bad for the person who neglected or abused you. And I would say that's a superpower within its own self that you have that. But even though that you can do that, you can see, oh, they had neglect or they didn't have this. It's not a fucking excuse. And I think you finally put your foot down and realizing that line of where am I going from being an understanding person and seeing the bigger purpose to literally belittling and like not even hearing my inner child or inner teenager, being another neglector for them. Absolutely not. You were put in some position within the past 2 months to stand your foot down to them and be like, no, look, I forgave you a long time ago, but you did do X, Y, and Z. You did mess me up psychologically, spiritually. You did put me in harm's way. And me acknowledging this is not bringing up the past. And there could even been some instances where while you're talking about these things, even though you guys have obviously been able to make a space where these conversations can be had, there's still egotistical moments. There's still insecurities, pride that can try to get in the way of things for every human. And you could have seen that person who you're talking to start to be like, well, again, I only did that because you did this and you stopped it. You said, no, I'm talking. If you want this to excel, you're going to hear me. I was a child. You were supposed to give me unconditional love. Hurting me, talking to me, etc. the way you did as your child. Or connected in a way of being a parent to you. I did nothing in those moments and that part of my life wrong. You were supposed to give me unconditional love, and that wasn't. Now, we're going to acknowledge this, but we're not going to harp on it. I'm not sitting here trying to make you feel bad. I'm acknowledging the truth. I forgave you a long time ago for all of this. But if you want to get somewhere and have a real relationship with me, we're accepting this. Because guess what? I love you unconditionally. And I can forgive you if you choose, with your freedom of will, to acknowledge the work that has to be done. That we can do together. And that we're not just going to wake up tomorrow and have a great dynamic. But if we keep at it, we will. You broke many and continue to break many generational curses. You became the parent you never had. And that is not discrediting the parents you had. And even if you're not a parent, you became the adult that would protect your child. You became the adult that does protect your inner child. So you became the parent to your inner child you never had. The great qualities of your parents, for the ones of you here where that resonates with that, you took those, but you expanded. That's why I'm stating that even if you had good parents, you still rose above another level. Because you can have good parents and still have been abused. Life's not black and white. This next part, you have taken a mask off for your inner teenager. This sense of, we need a trust. I'm here. I'm proving to you. We're safe to trust. We got to put our guard down. Not in a sense of, put our shields down to people that aren't deserving or situations where we need to be aware. You have to trust the ones that are here meet the frequency of unconditional love. Unconditional love does not mean you're perfect. You're going to go through arguments and selfish moments and moments where fear gets the best of everything and etc. Even with unconditional love, but it's about checking yourself. That's the thing. Acknowledging and advancing together. There are so many things your children will never have to go through because you chose to not cycle repeat. No matter if your parents, your adult figures, etc., whoever raised you, are still in this 3D existence or not, they're very proud of you for not playing the game that they did. You've helped and continue to help them see the world in a very different light. And actually, they're kind of amazed that you came from them, to be quite frank, at this point. That's what I'm hearing. They kind of forget that sometimes. They, if they see all this beauty in you, some of that had to come from them, right? At least something. And that anchoredness of, it looks like for a lot of you here, I mean, it's collective takes what resonates, but for a lot of you here, I just feel like I swerved into a collective where the parents are actually in deep admiration, that's a hard word for me to say, of you. And want to kill any moment they made you feel deprived of something as a child. This is unconditional love, what I'm feeling. Like a parent, a figure realizing in a moment of, oh my God, a whole part of my life I thought I was giving unconditional love, but I wasn't. A humongous reason why you could be who you are is because of all this experience. When I feel this, just anything is possible. With unconditional love, with faith, with like the essence of life force is uniting and not comparing and no more me versus them. The essence of life is the frequency of love. And love is fierce and full of passion and fire. You're more of a teacher for the surrounding people in your life than most of the... Well, what I'm hearing right now is the things that you teach people, no matter if they're adults, to the youngest of young, to the oldest of old, you're a teacher for everybody almost in your life. You have certain individuals that I believe you can learn from anybody. Like, every single person in the world you meet is going to know something you don't know. Point blank simple. But then there's certain energies as well where it's like, God, this person and I see. This is where I feel a form of like romantic love starting to come into this reading, which is going to be for the next reading I film. What I'm really seeing right now is everything that you felt deprived of as a child, you are walking on that balanced beam of finding another partner. Or if you already found that partner. Interesting. I'm going to have to do into another video because this is a totally different reading. But I see the evolution of it. Long story short for now, the inner child healing you've been doing, standing up to the parental figure, or if it was an older type of sibling that took care of you, or etc. This all has equivalated to like being in a whole other like part 2 of your movie, if you will, part 3, part 4 of your movie. You've excelled, and the love and the things you saw in past relationships with adults and etc., that you're like, oh, I want to be like that, I don't want to be like that, you have attracted in a partner that is your equilibrium, is your balance, give and take. That just as you were deprived of certain things, they were. And together you are choosing to really pop all of those bubbles of generational curses. You have a person who on their own path has chose to do the walk of this walk of a light worker. And you two are intertwined with each other from your freedom of will, along with this sense of a soul tie energy. This next reading is going to be absolutely a deep romantic reading about either confirming somebody that you've been doing the walk of life with for a little bit now, or stating somebody new that just popped in that is part of this North Star for you. But before this person came in, or before you and this person could go to the next level, if they've been a partner with you for a while, it looks like there was a lot of this situation that had to be undiscovered, gone through. That's what I got for y'all today. Now I'm going to promote a little twist I've decided to add to my normal schedule. So 3 times a week, over on Twitch at Uncle Bronze Official, I live stream playing video games, and I give away a free tarot reading every single stream. All you must simply do is be following me on Twitch at Uncle Bronze Official, watch the active live stream, and comment the keyword of the chat. That's what puts you into the draw. Now, I periodically will go onto YouTube lives and specifically do tarot live readings. What I want to do is start implementing those tarot live readings into a scheduled base aspect as well. So the same 3 days where I play video games on live, before, about 2 hours before I log on to Twitch, I'm going to log on to YouTube live and do the tarot readings. So Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, I plan on doing the live tarot readings. And then at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we migrate to Twitch. That is going to be a new schedule going forward. So make sure, if you want to be there for the Twitch live streams, you go ahead and follow. If you want to be there for the YouTube live streams, subscribe, turn all notifications on. And if you're interested in a personal reading with me, go to offprintmint.com. The link is in all of my social media platforms. You'll simply go to the services tab page. You'll see all of my available services. Under every single service, there's a book a reading button. You click on that, it's going to take you to the next page where it's going to ask you to put in your name, your email, the topic at hand for your reading, and a brief description of your reading. It's going to then send me an email, and I would send you an email back, and that's how we continue to communicate. I do not talk or schedule or answer questions at all on any social media platform. The only way to speak with me, the only way to schedule, the only way to be in contact with me is utilizing my website /email. And my email is contact@offprintmint.com. Anybody tries to reach out to you saying they're me, they're not. I never ask people if they want readings. You have to be guided for you. You have to be guided by your guides for you to go to whoever the reader is. That's how you know it's authentic. So, that's what I got for y'all today. And I'll see you when I see you.